Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Monday, the 28th of October, 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed up 0.1% today to 8,222 points. Not a lot's gone on, really. The last 5 sessions, the market's up just 12 points. Today, the banks were down. The big miners were up on the back of higher iron ore prices after some further stimulus out of Beijing. Wesfarmers had a good day. ResMed and Xero were other good performers. On the flip side, CSL, Goodman, Woodside and QBE all underperformed. But I've got to say, not a huge amount going on. Story number 2, Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers is set to crack down on poker machine manufacturers being given a tax concession for research and development. Figures from the Australian Tax Office show millions of dollars flowing to the Pokie manufacturers. Now, R&D is an expense. It's also a tax deduction. That's for all corporates. Dr. Chalmers, though, isn't quite sure whether the Pokies should be getting one. He said it's problematic for taxpayers' money to fund R&D for poker machines. Companies like Aristocrat Leisure and Ainsworth Game Technologies are the sorts of groups that would be affected. Story number 3, Fortescue Energy's boss, Mark Hutchison, has apologised for how he handled being linked to a religious group that promotes anti-LGBTQIA plus values after being pressured by his boss, Andrew Forrest. Dr. Forrest told his leadership team that they all needed to commit to corporate diversity and support for same-sex couples, according to a story in the Financial Review. Now, Mr. Hutchison, who runs the energy business at Fortescue, is also director of Alpha International. It's a Christian organisation that believes strictly in heteronormative sexual ideology. Mr. Hutchison on Sunday night apologised, declaring his support for sexual equality, same-sex relationships, and the value of the LGBTQIA plus community. Story number 4, the ASX Limited held its annual general meeting today and recorded a first strike on its remuneration report. A vote of 25% or more is required to deliver a strike. 26% of voters in this case were against your remuneration report, hence the strike. Plenty going on at that company. Director accountability, the bungled chess replacement project, and plenty of regulatory scrutiny has upset shareholders. They're not happy and they showed it by voting against the REM report. CEO Helen Lofthouse was awarded a $1.7 million short-term bonus this year, up 70%. I think that's what drew the ire of shareholders. Outgoing Chair Damien Roach said the vote shows a clear level of dissatisfaction with remuneration among shareholders. ASX's share price closed lower. For the year, it's up about 6%. And story number 5, Paladin Energy share price tumbled 15% today after the uranium producer said that its $1.5 billion acquisition of Toronto-listed Fission Uranium may not go ahead as it awaits approval by Canadian regulators. It was the biggest one-day drop in Paladin's share price in more than a year. The Canadian government has launched a national security review of the deal that could well scupper any tie-up between the two. Otherwise, Paladin said production has increased in Namibia to 640,000 pounds of uranium yellowcake. That was during the September quarter. Yellowcake is actually powdered uranium concentrate. It's a very volatile stock, this one. Paladin was nearly $18 in May, got down to about $8.50 in September. Now it's just over $10. That's it for the afternoon report for Monday, the 28th of October, 2024. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning with the Tuesday edition of Fear and Greed Business News. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.